So pretty much as soon as I made a video on how to customize your Android, a lot of you guys have been asking me what are the best icon packs. So after about 30 hours and about £50 of spend, welcome to my favorites in 2016. So let's start the video off with Tigard, which in my opinion is one of the most unusual because it manages to combine a flat art style with a 3D vector graphic. Now there's no doubt about it, it's a big divergence from the material design that Google is going towards, but it's a bit of a weird one because most 3D art styles are very over the top, but Tigard manages to keep things looking clean and organized, and pretty uniform as well. Next up we have PopUI, and this has got a lot of personality. It really is colourful, bright, punchy, and it's kind of for someone who doesn't care too much about a clean minimalist look, because you're definitely not going to get that here. It's kind of like a halfway house between Mrwhosetheboss and an earlier version of TouchWiz. And no, it's not the cleanest setup you can get, but it's a lot of fun. Next up is Umbra, and in my opinion this is one of the smartest icon packs. It's very cleverly designed because every icon is not only circular but is also surrounded by a black outline, which means that against any background the icons still stand out. It's bold, bright and colourful, and does a pretty good job of masking the unthemed ones so they look at least somewhat in check with the ones that are themed. So then we've got Elin, and I suppose in a way it shares some of the characteristics with Umbra, but it's gone for a much cleaner, more organised and more refined look. You'll notice no big thick lines around anything, and the colours are a little bit subtler as well as the wallpapers. But I suppose each to their own. This is not personally my favourite, but I can see why someone might like it. So the next one I just had to include. This is Wycons, and not only is it free, but it's also one of the most unique icon packs in that everything is turned black and white. But while it does have a lot of personality and I suppose the potential to look pretty stunning, you have got to choose your wallpapers selectively, because with the wrong one, the icons just kind of blend into the background a little bit. So next up is Axes, and I love it so much because it doesn't seem to bother with any of the icon pack stereotypes. It doesn't go for a clean or a flat or an organized look. It doesn't go for circular icons. In fact, it goes for the quite unusual square icons, but in its own rustic antique way it does look quite nice. It goes for a more faded look as opposed to a sharper look, but you can't deny it's got character. So the next one is Stealth, and again it's pretty unique. It ditches the idea of minimalism or cleanliness and instead goes for dark, mysterious, almost a bit creepy. The icons have these enveloping shadows around them, and all the wallpapers you get with it are really dark. But it's got an unusual look, and in its own creepy kind of way, it's quite eye-catching. The next one is almost a polar opposite. This is Fluxo, and it goes for a light, airy feel. Every icon is surrounded by a translucent bubble, and it looks slick, clean and uniform. Personally, it's not one of my favourites. I mean, I admit it's definitely organised, but I just think it lacks a little bit of character. It lacks a bit of punch, a bit of that kind of wow factor. So next up we have Vopaw, which does share some of the light, airy characteristics as Fluxo, but it has more to it. Now the focus of Vopaw is gentleness. It's got this very soft feel about it because they've reduced the contrast on everything, they've lightened the colours slightly. Even the icons, the squares, have slightly rounded edges, and in that sense it does achieve its goal. So to round things off we've got RetroRika, and I did feature this on a different video about apps that you just need to download, because I think it's one of the best thought out icon packs. It goes for an antique look, and it does that by slightly desaturating all the icons. And whilst that sounds really subtle, it's noticeable straight away, and it changes the whole way the smartphone feels. Combine that with these sort of rustic looking wallpapers and you get a totally new look, which I really like. So there we go guys, those were my best icon packs of 2016. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we've got a ton of cool stuff coming. And with that being said, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.